I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Welcome to the Pleasure Principles podcast. I wanted to thank you for all of the support, the DMs, the reviews, letting me know what has helped your relationship. It means the world to me. Because when I'm here in my room, in my office, alone, recording these, it's nice to know. And it's nice to know what lands. And it's nice that I'm keeping the content relevant to what you want to hear. So today, I'm feeling excited, anxious, and a little raw. So you're going to get the realness. There will be zero punches pulled. I'm packing to go to a conference in Phoenix next week and do a photo shoot for Icon Fit magazine. So big week for me. I have not been away from my daughter, whose second birthday it is today, my little Scorpio. Have not been away from her for this long. So my controlling superwoman tendencies to get everything done, make sure everything is perfect while I am away, have been creeping up, and I'm acknowledging, allowing, and softening those. I would also like to point out that I added an extra day to my trip because in the past I would have flown in for a work thing and flown out. I've been to cities where I haven't even experienced them. Really, except like the odd dinner on the town, but not this time. I booked myself an extra day, a me day, when I get down there to totally relax first. Speaking of controlling and fixing tendencies, if that is you, listen to episode 70 of the podcast on that topic, the one we did just before this. Today, I want you to take away one thing. My CEOs, my founders, my badass bitches, the tools that you use to succeed in business, in your career, are not the same tools that you need to succeed in relationship and in epic sex. How do I know this? This was me. I'm divorced. I didn't figure these things out until after. Trigger warning for this episode. I think that this is going to be a 2-3 time listener for some of you. Listen to it once to get your charge out and a second time to let it sink in. I was offended by some of these comments and concepts just a few years ago. But these were the things, these were the tools, this was the skill set that I was missing and that I needed to learn to have the life, love, sex, business that I wanted. Quick note, I am talking primarily about heterosexual relationships, about masculine and feminine energies as it relates to men and women being in relationship to one another. It's not to say that men and women don't both have masculine and feminine energy and that these concepts do not apply to same-sex couples. However, that is not the focus of this episode. I'm going to take you back probably about 8 years. I started to do women's business groups and masterminds very early in my career. I'm the kind of person that works well with a coach, accountability, and there's really nothing like being in the energy of a room. I have that feeling when we have our feminine mentorship in person retreats. Like I mentioned, I'm going to Phoenix for Allie Brown's conference, and there's just there's that something special about women connecting and being together, being in the same space. So I was at a business mastermind probably 8 years ago, and I can remember the first time that I heard one of the attendees say, I retired my husband. Everyone clapped. It was like the biggest flex. And I was thinking, fuck yes, I want that too. I was married to my ex husband at the time and thinking, like, that as a feather in your cap, that she's had so much success that her husband didn't even need to work. So this goal sounded great at the beginning. And I work with women who still do have this goal. And if it is your goal, it's okay. If you've already, I work with actually even more women who have done it. They've done the retiring, and then we are um, restoring the balance in their relationship. So I hear all of the reasons why you would want this to happen. It's like a status thing. It's like, I've made it. It's, well, he can stay home with the kids. He can help around the house. We can income split to save on taxes. And let's be real, what do you save? Like 30 grand a year. It depends on where you live, depends on your tax bracket. Maybe you can hire him in your business. A lot of times I see women hiring men in their businesses for roles that they're not 100% suited to do, which disrupts a relationship in a whole different way. What I do see with the thousands of women that I have worked with is this dynamic usually ends in divorce, unless they call me first, or affairs, or just complete unhappiness. There's something missing in the relationship. Now, this is not to say that this dynamic never works, but we are going against universal laws, our biology for thousands and thousands of years. And I didn't even begin to understand this or conceptualize this until I studied traditional Chinese medicine for 8 years while becoming a naturopathic doctor. So we cannot have two people in the masculine in a relationship. It just doesn't work. But as women, we've had a lot of conditioning to make us think that this is the goal. But when we get there, there's something missing. It's I have the house, I have the car, I have the career, probably even the vacation house, but I'm not happy. There's something missing. And that something could be missing in your relationship. That something could be missing with health, but you're just not there. So couples, one or both parties is unfulfilled, someone is seeking more, and you'll notice, like myself, the patterns will keep repeating. If you're a woman in your masculine, the patterns are going to keep repeating. So I got a divorce, and then I thought, I just need a more masculine man, someone bigger than me, someone, and I mean energetically, like someone that can hold me and lead me and earn way more money than me. And then it will just be good. So, like, I was thinking at the time, I'll be in my masculine and I'll do all the things, and I just need someone more masculine. Still a polarity disruption, still does not work. So when I found that man, got in that relationship, and the same pattern started to creep up. They looked a little different. The flavor was a little different, but it was a wake up call. And it was like, oh my goodness, the problem is me. I can't blame all the men. Like, if it's happening more than once, then it's me. I'm the problem. That Taylor Swift song is in my head. Single women. So, single women in their masculine. You feel like you can't find your man, you've given up, or you keep attracting the same type of man, the same type of under-functioning man that you're trying to fix, trying to pull along, trying to get to do something, but he's stuck. So I want you to remember, when you remembered the point of this episode, the tools that got you success in business is not what works in relationship. So unless as a female you are truly, truly comfortable in masculine yang energy, leading, conquering, goal-oriented, completing tasks, okay? So that sounds a lot like you in the boardroom, which is fucking awesome, and it's powerful and it feels amazing. And most super women that I encounter think that they're comfortable here. But the problem is that doesn't give us the intimacy in romantic relationship, in friendships a lot of the time that we seek, that we're craving. But we don't even know that because our conditioning to be in the masculine is so strong. And often we have a rejection of our feminine yin energy and those qualities. Rest, connection, fluidity, intuition. So I want to make a note on these things. And when I was learning Chinese medicine, I tattooed it on my wrist because I wanted a daily reminder of something to look at that was like, holy crap, I'm in my masculine all day. I have zero yin. No wonder why I am exhausted, burnt out. At the time in med school, I had acne, my hair was falling out. Cortisol, inflammation, the whole bit. So it was really impacting my being in my masculine was really impacting my physical health at that time. So these dynamics, the yin and the yang, are relational and they're interdependent. So in every person, in every relationship, we need both and we need to flow. One cannot exist without the other. But we have, as a society, tended to devalue and forget about the feminine in favor of the masculine, because that's how we've been taught to exist, how we've taught to be these productive robots of society, to take care of others and sacrifice ourselves, which is why we often need to work on learning this new skill set, this return to the feminine, to be able to find balance. It doesn't mean that we get rid of our superwoman capes, our boss bitch attitude. We need that. It's amazing. But there's this whole other skill set. There's this whole other element that we're missing. As a society, we have been working towards gender equality. And I definitely consider myself a feminist. And by that, I mean a fan of equality for all people, all beings. So when we're talking about equal and we're talking about masculine and feminine, the thing is they are different and equal. And we seem to have messed this part up in patriarchal society. So in favor of the masculine and devaluing the feminine. We've forgotten that they're different and they're equal and that we need both in relation to each other. So as women, they're earning more, we're getting a seat at the table, we are getting more educated. Oftentimes it's like we're doing it, we're trying to do it the way men do it. We're trying to be men, which is leaving us wearing the pants, making the money, and having all of that invisible workload on our plate it leaves us burnt out. In fact, I have several of my clients that are the primary breadwinners or have even retired their partners. And even though they're the ones that work full time, they're still doing the invisible workload at home. Their men might be out golfing, working out while they're earning the money and doing all of the at home tasks. And that is some of the most unbalanced situations that I've seen. So I don't know about you, but it was probably something similar. I grew up internalizing messages like, you can do anything a man can do. Don't rely on a man. You can do things yourself. What messaging did you have around men? That they're not to be trusted, that they will leave, that you need to have sex or they're going to find it somewhere else. So the problem as we have approached equality is that men are hardwired, are hunter gatherers, are protectors and providers, are fixers and leaders. And as a society, we have been conditioning to occupy this role too. I was having a conversation with one of my best friends last week, and she mentioned when her man goes to protect and fix for her, her immediate reaction is to reject, get offended because she can do it herself and she does not need a man to fix her. And this is common. I see this dynamic commonly, and both parties feel unfulfilled in that case. In our devaluing of the feminine, many of us have heard and internalized these messages so that feminine side of us has been dishonored probably since childhood. Don't cry. You're too emotional. Earn your own money. Don't be lazy. So we grew up with this armor around our hearts, not trusting men to protect and provide, and also devaluing feminine characteristics. And if we tell the truth, we don't know how to let this happen. We don't know how to occupy a feminine pole or keep ourselves safe in intimate relationships when we are not the ones in control. We don't know how to trust when we are not the ones leading. It feels so foreign to us because of our superwoman conditioning. And it feels almost sexist when you first hear it. It feels anti-feminist. Oftentimes when we're talking about these things, I hear, well, you mean I'm just supposed to submit and let go and do whatever he wants? I feel sick when I hear the word surrender. But really what it's about is masculine and feminine in relationship to each other. We've talked about it before, but it feels aligned to mention it here. We talk about the analogy of the river and the river bank. So the masculine is the river bank, the rocks, the feminine is the water that's flowing. And in fact is very strong because water can erode rock. We just don't look at it that way in our society. A woman in her masculine in business is amazing. She's crushing it until she burns out, which you can see any of my previous episodes that talk about feminine burnout if that's you. And these scales are terrible for a relationship. So you either are pushing your man into his feminine pole, and if he's not truly happy, truly having a feminine core, loving to be cared for, resentment starts to build. He's not present. He's depressed. Maybe he's getting high, watching porn. He's stuck and he's not moving forward. Because remember, you're the masculine. You're in the doing pole. He's in the being pole. I usually see this dynamic leading to affairs, or both parties are just very unhappy and feel unfulfilled in the relationship. And I am not minimizing the experience of men. We're going to have some guests on and we're going to talk about this more, but men are struggling with mental health and sexual dysfunction at an increasing rate. It's not as large as women are suffering, but a lot of men are lacking purpose in today's society in relationship because of all the reasons that I just talked about. Now, for women, if deep down we don't feel cared for, and often it feels exhausting to always be leading, but we don't know how to let go and occupy the feminine space. A lot of the women that I work with really crave someone to take things off their plate so that she can let go, that she can trust to take care of it. But she can't let go of the control. It's not done right or up to her standard, or she feels guilty by not being able to do it all. And maybe you're numb, you're over functioning, you're exhausted, and you know there is more, you know that there is something missing. It's another sign that you're missing that feminine piece, which is my work. Taking these unbalanced relationships, these women that are so strongly occupying and feel safe in that masculine pole, and helping balance them so that they can feel safe in a relationship and let themselves be cared for by the healthy masculine. Let them feel safe letting a man lead sometimes. So here's some truths. And again, they might be hard to hear, but when you stop and think about yourself, when you stop and think about your friends, women often will leave a relationship because we don't believe a man can lead us anywhere we couldn't take ourselves. That is why I left my marriage. So think about this. If you're making the money, if you call the shots, you're doing the planning at home, you're making the appointments, you plan the vacations, you tell him what podcasts to listen to, you tell him what therapist to see, you're setting the tone, you're in your masculine. And a note on the sex. So if this is you and this is your approach to life, I guarantee you are not having the best sex. I have clients tell me this all the time. They're like, yeah, sex is great. You're having masculine sex. You're having one type of great sex, but you're not having the surrendered sex from your feminine, which is just a whole new world. And I love the messages from my clients that are like, I just had the best sex of my life. No, wait, now it's like a month later. No, I just had the best sex of my life. So even if you think the sex is good, but the rest of this applies to you, guarantee you could be way better. So I want you to take a minute and feel into this. And you might not like the answers, or the answers that come up are things that you think you should say. So, what do you really need a man for? What do you need a man for that you couldn't hire someone else to do? Where are you trusting him to lead or provide? Now, this is not just about money. You can make more money and still have a balanced relationship if you can occupy your feminine pole and trust him to lead. And maybe he brings depth to the relationship. Maybe he has a deep purpose. Maybe being in his presence, looking in his eyes, relaxes your nervous system and makes you feel safe. For super women, for women like me, with the anxiety, the abandonment, the wounding that we have that made us so in our masculine and so successful in our careers, usually means we would really, really struggle to do this regardless of what kind of man we're with. I am in deeper, truer, realer love than I have ever been in my entire life. And I trust him to lead in most areas. So I am a recovering superwoman, recovering woman in her masculine. And it has been an interesting journey and process for me to learn to surrender. And listen, I am not saying he leads on everything. I'm not saying I override my intuition if I don't agree, or I'm a doctor, so medical questions and concerns for us and our family are directed to me. But he calls the shots on some really big things, and he expands me in a direction that I know that I wouldn't get without him. I wouldn't be challenged to grow to that level without him. And it's better for me, it's better for our family, and it feels amazing to not be in the driver's seat 110% of the time. And listen, ladies, it is not because I can't motherfucking lead myself. It's because I'm learning to feel safe with healthy masculine leadership. I am learning to trust the feminine and create safety in myself and with others. And this was my work. This was work that I had to do. This was nothing with, it was nothing anyone could do for me or any book I could read or any of that. So, in a quick note, men leave relationship when they are not getting the feminine energy that they need. They don't need a manager, a boss, a mother. They will get resentful or sink into their feminine, depressed, numb, not doing anything. It's not like a healthy feminine either. It's a dark feminine. They seek feminine energy elsewhere. They numb the fuck out. Men want to feel your depth of feeling, which you're probably suppressing because you're too busy doing. We're great at thinking our feelings, but not actually feeling them. We keep ourselves busy so we can outrun them. And he wants all of you, but you only show him pieces. You only show him what you think he should see. And we suppress and we self sacrifice the rest. So, quick recap. The skills that got you success in your career will not get you success in relationship, and they definitely will not get you the best sex of your life. Men are wired to be protectors and providers, and we cannot have two people occupying that role. One will be pushed into the feminine. The only way this dynamic actually works is if he has a truly feminine heart and your heart is truly masculine. Like you're both truly happy occupying the non-traditional pole and role. And if you are, that is amazing. But you're listening to this, so something is missing. And maybe your partner's, he's fine occupying the more feminine role, but the occupying the masculine role, you leading, is exhausting, and there's something missing and you don't know how to get out of it. So you're craving more, or you want a relationship, you want that real love, and you just can't seem to find it. I want to read you this quote that stuck with me over 2 years ago when I needed to rescue my current relationship. And when I had that moment of, holy shit, this is me, this was the quote that really landed. I dream of never being called resilient again in my life. I'm exhausted by strength. I want support. I want softness. I want ease. I want to be amongst kin, not patted on the back for how well I can take a hit or for how many. So if that sounds good to you, if there's a piece of you that is like, yes, that sounds amazing. The problem is you don't know the steps to take to get there, to take the superwoman cape off and relax into your feminine pole. And I teach this. I teach this in my 12-month mastermind, the Feminine Mentorship. If what I am saying is speaking directly to you, and you know that you need to work with me. I know you know who you are. You're me who listens to a podcast like this and is like, yes, her, sign me up, because you know what you've been doing isn't working. It's working with me is going to be cheaper than divorce. It's going to be cheaper than the couples therapy that you've done that didn't work. So you can apply to work with me one-on-one. I'm going to put that link in the show notes. And I want to give you some tips, some actionable tips for getting out of the masculine and starting to restore the balance in your relationship. So there's some quick tips, and this work is a process. It's an ongoing process. So we're going to do the quick stuff, but then I'm going to leave you with a deeper tip on the deeper work as well. So tip number 1, stop telling your man what to do. Stop telling the men you're dating what to do. Stop sending them Instagram posts, listen to this podcast, etc. And if controlling is an issue for you, or this sounds weird, or like, well, that's how I connect with people, listen to episode 70 of the Pleasure Principles podcast on control before we go any further on this one. Tip number 2, slow down. This is hard for me. It will be hard for you. Slow down how you speak. Slow down how you move. Slow down how you make love. Even the way you walk into a room and sit next to your man, the way you take off your shirt, practice slowing the fuck down, getting into that feminine energy. And this is hard for us. It's hard for us if you have a brain and conditioning that works like mine, because it requires presence and it requires us to feel. No more outrunning the craziness in our head. So practice slowing down. I don't care if you make your cup of tea slowly every day. Slow down. Put moisturizer on after you get into the shower slowly. So the deep work is to learn to cultivate safety in yourself that allows you to trust healthy masculine. And we need to learn to trust the feminine characteristics in ourselves. Superwomen, we are very, very good at looking like we have it all together on the outside and being a mess on the inside with our health, with mentally, emotionally, in our intimate relationships. So I see you and want to tell you a little truth about what's going on with me. So today, what are we going to talk about? Q&A. And just, I want to say, so many of you have already applied for the Feminine Mentorship. You've filled out the application. You are on the wait list. It is so exciting. And these are the women that are refusing to go into 2024 feeling overwhelmed, feeling exhausted, not feeling desired and connected in their personal lives. We are going to be officially opening enrollment in a few weeks, and space is limited. I am taking 15 women. If my work speaks to you, if you want, like if you cannot tolerate another day and you want to go into 2024 feeling connected, desired, fulfilled, energetic, listen up. And several of you wrote on your applications, I heard your podcast, I saw your post, and it was like you were speaking to me. If that is you and you are ready to invest in yourself, you are ready to change, you are ready to be a part of an amazing community of women. If you saw some of the posts and footage of our Arizona retreat, if you are ready to reconnect your relationships in all of them, friendships, children, coworkers, if you want to have better, more connected sex, maybe you want to squirt for the first time. 3 of our members learned how to do that. And if that's not your thing, that's cool. But that was on the list for them. So they were super pumped about that. We go on a journey for you to learn how to ask for and receive more pleasure. Something foreign to superwomen. We know how to excel, achieve, overgive, work hard to get things done. but learning to have a balance, some ease, some flow, asking for help, letting it be okay to be helped, learn how to be vulnerable, learn how to feel our feelings, not just think them. If you want to learn another way so that you can access that when it is necessary, like we got the Superwoman cape, we're good at that. That is not going away. The CEO will not die. But if you are ready to do things differently in life, in your relationships with more pleasure, joy, ease, connectedness, go to the link in the show notes, thepleasurecollective.com/feminine mentorship, and fill out an application. Get on the wait list. I'm going to be starting interviews next week, and we will be officially opening enrollment soon. But if you want to get in early, I've got some extra bonuses and discounts for you. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.